By Time Warner Cable, the power of you. And brought to you by AT&T, your world delivered. Now, as you can see, just a beautiful night at the ballpark tonight in Milwaukee. Partly cloudy skies up above, and Jim Riggleman and the Washington Nationals put a hurting on the Brewers last night, a 14-6 win. Riggleman taking over this team, and he is now 5-7 as the skipper of the Nationals. His lineup today is brought to you by Subway. Nyjer Morgan, Christian Guzman, and Ryan Zimmerman at the top. Adam Dunn, Josh Willingham, and Willie Harris in the middle of the order, with Alberto Gonzalez, Will Nieves, and Colin Ballister, the bottom three. And that lineup will face Carlos Villanueva. Rock making his first start of the season coming out of that Brewers bullpen.
And the Piggly Wiggly scouting report, it's all about how effective he's going to be as to how long he's going to go. If he has any problems, you got Tim Dillard to back him up. Got to throw his off-speed pitches down. He's been effective against lefties this year. Matter of fact, better against lefties than righties, and he's got to work ahead. Very important to not put himself in a fastball count.
First start for Villanueva at the big league level since May 18th of 2008. He started against the Red Sox that day last year, and he's back in the starting rotation at least for one start here tonight. Paul Schreiber will call the balls and strikes tonight. Paul Nart, Joe West, and Ed Rapuano on the bases. Joe West, the crew chief in this crew. And Nyjer Morgan pounds one deep right field, and it's gone. And this game starts just like yesterday for the Washington Nationals.
Well, his seventh home run allowed by Carlos Villanueva. We mentioned that he had been effective against lefties. A .240 batting average against lefties. Righties hitting at about 300. Nyjer Morgan, it doesn't really show a whole lot of power, able to get into that fastball, and bangs it way back in the second deck and right.
Well, there's a lot of talk today with the Brewers about drawing the line in the sand, turning the page, moving forward. It has been a very disappointing month of July for Milwaukee, but the Brewers open the day 4 games back of the Cubs. They're right in the middle of a pennant race and just hoping to get things turned around, and that didn't do him any favors right there. Nyjer Morgan with a quick strike against Milwaukee, only his 3rd home run of the season.
Yeah, with all the power in this lineup, that's the last guy you would figure to take you deep. If there is a hitter in this lineup that you can challenge like that, would be Nyjer Morgan, but he knocked one out of here.
Guzman, a bouncer to Prince. He's got it, and he'll take it himself for out number 1. Well, here's how it looks in the National League Central. The Cubs out in front with a 52-45 record. They're 5 games ahead of the Brewers in the loss column. That's the column to pay attention to as we hit the stretch drive here. Milwaukee 4 back, still looking for their 50th win of the season. Cardinals have more wins than any other in the division. And some well-placed off days coming up for the Cardinals. They have played more games than any other team in this race. The Cardinals have played 2 more games than the Brewers. So a lot of baseball to be played. This is game number 100. So after tonight, 62 to go, which is a whole lot of baseball left. And the Brewers are still hoping that they have better days ahead.
Man, just got to start putting things together, and it all starts with the starting pitching. And when your starting pitching is putting you behind just about every day, very difficult to win games. I mean, the Brewers early in the season came from behind quite a bit, but you can't hang your hat on that all season long. You can't fall behind every night and play catch up. And that's what they seem to be doing just about every night here in July.
Villanueva facing Ryan Zimmerman. And he rolls over one. McGee dives. Can he get the throw off? Not in time. Zimmerman beats it out. And it's an infield hit for Zimmerman, who earlier this year had a 30-game hit streak, still the longest in baseball in 2009.
Man, big, tall, right-handed hitter covers the plate extremely well, able to hook that one, and Casey McGee knocks it down and just not able to get enough on the throw to throw him out. Zimmerman, for a big guy, runs pretty well. Got out of the box in pretty good shape.
Well, a base runner with 1 out for Adam Dunn. A run is in on a Nyjer Morgan home run to start this game. Big Adam Dunn, 25 home runs. That's 6th best in the league coming in. He's 5th best in RBIs with 73. Had a pair of RBIs last night and a couple of hits.
Yeah, the success that Suppan had last night was in large part because of his changeup, and he threw a lot of them to Adam Dunn. Dunn very susceptible to that changeup, but you got to keep it down.
And it's been the pitch for Villanueva that has neutralized left-handed hitting. And when Villanueva's right, his changeup and his slider, the pitch he just threw there, he can command and throw for strikes, and that sets up, of course, a fastball that is not overpowering but can be effective.
And when you have a hitter looking off speed, that fastball appears a little bit quicker, but still in all, he doesn't throw it hard enough to be able to make mistakes with a fastball.
Well, Dunn, the big bopper, signed a multi-year deal with the Nationals this offseason. There's no doubt Washington can swing the bats. They are 2nd in the league at on-base percentage coming in. Last night, the most runs they scored all season in a game, belting 14. Fielders got it, fires to second. Hardy the return, double play. Nicely done, 3-6-3. And Villanueva, despite a leadoff home run, works through the rest of the order with no damage. And here we go to the home first. The Brewers coming up against Colin Ballister. Stay with us. Washington National is 3rd overall, and he has the Nationals on top 1-0 before the Brewers come to bat. Ken Macha's batting order a little bit different tonight. He's giving Craig Counsell the night off, hoping to rest the veteran Counsell tonight. Felipe Lopez back in the leadoff spot. He's got Cameron batting 2nd tonight. Ryan Braun in the 3-hole. The middle of the order is Prince Fielder, Casey McGee, and Corey Hart, and J.J. Hardy, Jason Kendall, and Villanueva rounded out. Subway batting order, and that batting order will face Colin Ballister, making only his 2nd start in the big leagues this season. He replaced the Wisconsinite Jordan Zimmerman, who went on the disabled list July 19th. Felipe Lopez leads off for the Crew. 10 hits as a member of the Brewers since the trade with the Diamondbacks. Rock Lopez batting .417 as a Brewer this year.
And very impressive in watching him work the count. I mean, he is a guy that's going to hit the ball where it's pitched. He's got a lot of base hits to the opposite field. You love to see that.
And Ballister finds the back door and strikes out Lopez for out number 1.
And the Piggly Wiggly scouting report. Well, the Brewers saw him last year. He pitched here at Miller Park. The Brewers beat him 5-0. So there is some familiarity, not much, but there is some. His last 12 starts in AAA after a slow start, 6-4 with a 3.38 ERA. He's got a straight fastball, not much velocity, and a pretty good curveball. The pitch that he just got Lopez looking.
Well, Mike Cameron homered off Ballister here last year. That was back on August 8th of 2008. Fans might remember that game. It was CC Sabathia's complete game shutout of the Washington Nationals. Cameron went deep. Sabathia went the distance and notched his 9th career shutout here at Miller Park last year. Part of that great run the Brewers had, and their first trip to the postseason since '82. Well, breaking ball has found the strike zone early tonight for Ballister. He's ahead of Cameron 1-2.
And the breaking pitch for Ballister can be very inconsistent, but if he throws it for strikes, like any pitcher who's got a big curveball, if he throws it for strikes, he's going to have a good night. And you keep hitters off balance. You have them guessing whether the fastball is coming. And it looks like so far tonight in the first inning, he's throwing it for strikes.
Ballister made 19 starts in AAA Syracuse this year. He becomes the 45th player the Nationals have used this season. You get 25 players on your roster at any time. And the Nationals have dipped down into Syracuse quite often. And there's another breaking ball strike for a backwards K against Mike Cameron. About the same location he threw to Felipe Lopez.
Well, again, if he's throwing that pitch for a strike, it could be tough. Now, when he falls into problems with a guy that's basically a two-pitch pitcher, he doesn't have that breaking pitch. He's going to be throwing a lot of fastballs, and that's when he gets hit hard.
So 2 strikeouts. Ballister right back on the rubber, ready to work. He's a high-energy, fast worker. Braun swings at the first one, and Guzman will handle it for out number 3. A quiet first for the Brew Crew. 1-0 Washington. We head to the second. Josh Willingham set to lead off. Well, Josh Willingham ready to lead off for the Nationals, and what a night he had last night. 2 grand slams in the same game, becoming only the 13th hitter to ever do that. First one was against Jeff Suppan on the first pitch. That was in the 5th inning and part of a 6-run 5th inning, and he did it again in the very next inning in the 6th, a 7-run Nationals 6th inning. 2 grand slams, Rock. He also had a double. 8 runs batted in. That's a good week. That's a good month.
Yeah, no kidding.
Beats that one into the ground, and Hardy will take care of Willingham for out number 1.
Well, you notice the location on both of the pitches that Willingham hit out of the ballpark, almost identical. Fastballs out away from. Actually, DeFelice threw him the cutter that stayed in the middle part of the plate. Similar locations, and he hit him about the same spot.
There's been a lot of trade talk swirling around Josh Willingham, and it only intensified last night. There are a number of teams in the pennant race who are looking for a bat, and Willingham might be one of those guys that you see traded here shortly, especially if he keeps hitting grand slams.
Yeah, everybody's looking for a guy that hits grand slams, right?
Twice.
Yeah.
Pretty quiet on the trade front today. There was a deal involving the White Sox and the Red Sox. Mark Kotsay dealt for Brian Anderson, the White Sox center fielder. I got a lot of phone calls today. Everybody thought I was traded. So Anderson got his wish. He's been wanting to get traded, and he's on his way to Boston.
Even Ernie Harwell.
That's right. And Lou Boudreau. Broadcasters traded for players. But we are going to have Doug Melvin in the booth a little bit later in the game, in the third inning. I believe he's coming by. Actually, we'll do it when he shows up, because he's a busy man right now.
Right, and I would imagine maybe in between phone calls.
But we're shooting for the third inning, and we'll have a good chat with Doug, kind of catch up on what's going on. Who knows? Maybe he'll have breaking news. But we'll see how things are going on the trade front. The trade deadline is Friday. The Roy Halladay deadline is today. Self-imposed deadline by the Toronto Blue Jays with their star right-hander.
Well, so far nobody willing to give up what Toronto's looking for, so perhaps they might consider to extend that deadline. Who knows? Never know what can happen. Everything happens normally right at the last minute. That's the most exciting time, you know, when you don't hear anything, when it's dead.
The 11th hour deal, right? Carsoup.com email the booth question. Mandy in Brookfield wants to know, how hard is the adjustment from a relief pitcher to a starting pitcher? It's a good question, and certainly Carlos Villanueva has done both in his career. Seth McClung gave it a shot. He's on the disabled list.
Most guys have to manage the fastball. I mean, that's the biggest difference. I mean, if you expect to get through a lineup 2 or 3 times, you can't have max effort on the fastball. But that really doesn't apply a whole lot to Villanueva, because it doesn't throw hard anyway. It's making adjustments when you face a guy more than once. Out of the bullpen, you really are going to face a particular hitter once. So go one time through the order on a typical relief appearance. But it's that second time through, and hitters get an opportunity to see your pitches. You have to make some adjustments.
Well, Ken Maka saying earlier today, ideally he'd like to get 60 pitches out of Villanueva and 4 innings. He's hoping the 60 pitches can get him through 4 innings. Villanueva's been pretty resilient in his career in spots like this. He's managed to go extended innings out of the bullpen in the past, and he did start last year, so he's comfortable with the routine and the process. Came up as a starter all through the minor league system.
You know, in long term, this might be good for Villanueva, but giving him an opportunity to get some extended innings, work out some of his issues mechanically, and get his pitches down. So, you know, although this is an important start for he and the Brewers, it could very well help him in the long run down in the bullpen.
Sure. And you know you've got good stuff when a big league hitter throws his bat. Gonzalez down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
Ordinarily you do that when you're fooled on a pitch that you're way out in front. The change-ups, the off-speed pitches.
Now tomorrow it'll be Manny Parra for the Brewers, and then Gallardo gets the start on Thursday in the day game here, the final game of this 4-game series. So a big start indeed for Milwaukee. And Carlos Villanueva. Carlos said he was as surprised as anyone when Maka called him in his office. Told him he was going to get the start today as he strikes out Gonzalez for out number 2.
Everybody assumed it was going to be Tim Dillard, who was throwing the baseball very well as a starter down in AAA. Gonzalez goes after a pitch out of the strike zone.
So 2 gone, still a runner at first, Willie Harris. And here's Will Nieves, the Washington catcher. Nationals on the board quickly. Nyjer Morgan hit the second pitch he saw from Villanueva into the bleachers in right field. And Washington has now hit 4 home runs in this series. They had 3 yesterday. Those 2 grand slams by Willingham, and then Ryan Zimmerman hit a solo shot in the 8th.
As we talked about, this is a pretty good offensive club. Their problems have been defense. They've got the worst team fielding percentage of any team in the big leagues, the most errors, and their pitching has been very poor so far this year, particularly their bullpen. But they could score some runs. They've got some pop in their bat. I mean, on paper, you look at these guys, particularly the middle of the order, the top 5, pretty good hitters.
Well, Jim Riggleman took over this Nationals ball club after the All-Star break. Manny Acta was relieved of his duties. And the Nationals are 5-7 under Riggleman, but they've won 5 of their last 7. After being swept by the Cubs, managed to get things turned around. They've won their last 2 series. It's got to be a thrill for Jim Riggleman to manage the team basically in his hometown. He's from Maryland. He grew up following the Washington Senators and has had a long career in Major League Baseball, former big league player, and about a decade as a big league manager. Took over the Mariners last year on an interim basis.
Yep, Cubs manager. Yeah, growing up in Washington, probably watched Davey Nelson play some baseball.
Oh,
huh?
You know it.
Yeah.
Our own Davey Nelson scored the final run of Senators history. Got him. Good pitch. Back-to-back strikeouts for Villanueva. 2 punch-outs for the game. 1-0 Washington.
It was back to the basics for the Brewers around 3:57 this afternoon. My time where they usually take batting practice, they were taking PFP, something you rarely see during the regular season. Pitchers and infielders worked on covering first and turning double plays. Ken Maka said this is something he's wanted to do since the All-Star break. He also said the pitcher's fielding has been fine and he just wanted to knock off some rust. And we saw the effects of that in the first inning where Prince started a 3-6-3 double play. He was out here earlier working on it as well. So the guys are making sure that they're staying sharp in every facet of the game, guys.
Bringing everybody together. PFP, pitcher's fundamental practice.
Nothing wrong with that once in a while. Wouldn't look at that as a punishment. It's just one of those things that you can never take for granted. You make those plays and you just work on it a little bit, and it's an opportunity, as you talked about, to just get that cohesiveness, a little bit of a practice together.
Kind of a spring training feel to it. That's something they do every day in the spring, that exact routine that you saw. And then it's sporadic throughout the season. Now Fielder still leads the ball club in home runs with 24. The Powerball home run leaderboard brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery. Fielder sitting on 24, which is 7th in the league. He's driven in 87, second behind Albert Pujols, and a .428 on base percentage, also second behind Pujols. If you put Pujols in his own league, call it the Pujols Major League, Fielder's your MVP.
Yeah. Albert is pretty much, as you mentioned, in a class of his own. There's not a whole lot that Albert Pujols does not lead the National League in as far as positive offensive stats.
Pretty much every major offensive category he's there.
You name it. He's at the top, and you name it, Prince is probably second.
Fielder at 306 to start the day. Three-two pitch into center. This won't carry as Nyjer Morgan settles under it for out number one.
Yeah, Ballister doing a good job. He's throwing that curveball for strikes and establishing that fastball in on the hands of these hitters, whether it be right-handed or left-handed. That's a pretty good plan if you're able to put the pitch where you want it. A lot of times if you're going to pitch in, pitchers will leave it out over the plate, and that's when they give up home runs. Curveball as low as 73.
Ballister made 15 starts in the big leagues last year. Did not make the team out of spring training, and he's been down in Syracuse most of this season until Jordan Zimmermann went on the disabled list with an elbow injury. It's Ballister's second start from Southern California. McGee, a hot one over to Zimmermann, and two gone. 5 in a row retired by Ballister.
And Zimmermann looked surprised that that ball was in his glove. Kind of played it off to the side. He had to jam his glove down into the ground and look at it like, hey, do I have it? Zimmermann has struggled defensively over third base. Check it out. Up there it is. Yep, I have it. And makes the throw to first base.
Well, he made sure it wasn't going to be off his shin, I'll tell you that. He cleared the leg.
Yes, he did.
It was going to be in the glove or the outfield. Two outs for Corey Hart. Hart looks like he's getting it together offensively. Had a home run last night. And that one is drilled down the line. That's a fair ball. It'll go to the wall. And Corey Hart will roll into second with a double. Hart stays hot, and the Brewers have their first hit. An extra base hit that puts a man in scoring position with two away.
Well, a quick bat on a pitch in on him. As we talked about, Ballister, it didn't look like it was by design. It was supposed to be away, but it ended up on the inside corner. Corey Hart able to pop those hips open and get that bat through the zone and get the barrel on it for a two-out double. Got to get him hot. Got to get he and a bunch of others hot at the same time.
Double number 20 for Hart, who also has 11 homers. And he's aboard for J.J. Hardy. Hardy with 11 home runs, 43 driven in. Now we'll see if the Brewers can answer here in the bottom of the second. Well, now that Felipe Lopez is in the mix and healthy, the hamstring injury is healed up. Ken Maka talking today about the rotation he's going to start to work between Counsell and Hardy and Lopez and McGee. He's going to make sure he keeps all these guys active in the starting lineup, and occasional off days for guys like Counsell and J.J. Hardy specifically.
Yeah, that's until somebody steps up and starts getting real hot offensively. And Craig Counsell, one of the hottest Brewer hitters, and surprisingly has found his way on the bench. But you know, Craig needs a day off from time to time. He's played an awful lot lately.
Now Ken Mock is saying that J.J. Hardy likely to get Thursday off, Thursday afternoon. And he wants to make sure he gets some playing time for Casey McGee as well. So basically you've got 4 guys who can play 3 positions. Hardy, a base hit to center field, and here comes Hart. He'll score. J.J. with a 2-out hit and an RBI. The Brewers have tied it here in the second.
Well, nice job by J.J. able to wait back on that curveball. Ballister left that one up in the zone. And J.J. didn't try and pull it. Well, he stays back nicely, out over the plate, up in the zone. And nice easy swing. J.J. ties it up. A sweet swing. So Corey and J.J. I should say, with 2 outs and nobody on, produce a run.
And here's Kendall with 2 away. Kendall at .241 for the season, driven in 25 runs this year. Back-to-back hits for the Brewers. And they've tied it up. Kendall, a bouncer over to Zimmerman. And a throw to second is in time. A wild throw, but Gonzalez able to tiptoe back to the bag to get the out. Inning is over. The Brewers tie it. We head to the 3rd at Miller Park. All tied at 1 as we head to the top of the 3rd inning. Washington coming up as Carlos Villanueva is back on the mound, and we're pleased to be joined now by Brewers general manager Doug Melvin, who is busy this time of year. It's fun for fans. Is it fun for you?
Yeah, I enjoy it. It gives an opportunity. You have all your scouts, your main scouts in. Dick Roach, our pro director's in town. Bruce Sides in here. You know, and Gordon, Zach Manassian, we all sit down and you make phone calls to clubs, and we have a good time with it, and you get a chance to review all the other clubs' rosters at this time.
It's been kind of quiet all around baseball. There have been a couple of deals, but not a whole lot going on. How much is available out there right now?
Yeah, not a whole lot right now. There's, you know, everybody. It's a funny year because there's a number of teams that are looking as much for offense as they are pitching. And like I said, that some of the teams that are in the race, they're in the race because they have pitching. And the teams that aren't in the race they're not in the race because they don't have pitching. So, so you sort of get caught and have to try to see which club is interested in making a move. And one of the other things come into play when general manager just talked to me about a half hour ago, and he's got someone he's trying to move, and he said no one can take any money on. So that's a little different than some other past seasons too.
A little flair. Lopez will make the play here for out number one. Well, let's talk about Roy Halladay. It was interesting that J.P. Ricciardi put the date on the deadline, the early deadline of the 28th, which is today. I mean, have you seen that before? Your thoughts on that and that whole situation as it plays out?
Yeah, I think when you have a player that has a total no trade clause, you do have to put a deadline at least 2 or 3 days. I probably would even put it up sooner, 2 or 3 days, because a lot goes into it. The player has to talk to his families, has to talk to the agent, has to really make sure he wants to go to the team that he's been traded to. There's usually a negotiation in a no trade. A guy with a total no trade, there's usually a negotiation from the union standpoint. They have to get something back in that. So there's a lot of activity and things that have to be answered prior to the deadline. So having it 2 or 3 days before the deadline is probably a good thing.
Plus, what all they're asking, you better be sure that that guy is going to make a big difference and get you to postseason, because it appears that Toronto and other teams that have pitchers that are caliber of a Halladay, they're asking the world for these guys.
Yeah, again, the value of pitching is very high. The thing with Roy Halladay versus Sabathia from last year, or even a Matt Holliday this year, is you have them for next year also. Mm-hmm. And then you got to exchange medical information. You got a doctor talk to their doctor, exchange, the medical files and that. So there's a lot goes into it. It's just not a matter of me passing over the phone and say we have a deal and that. There's a lot that has to get done beforehand.
Visiting with Doug Melvin, Brewers general manager, as the trade deadline approaches on Friday. The Roy Halladay deadline is today. And how about the general philosophy from your office about where the team is right now and just exactly what you're trying to accomplish?
Well, obviously we try to get some pitching. We haven't pitched as well the past couple months, really, and we need to try to get some more consistent pitching. Brian Carlos here in the 5th spot. I still believe that our pitching's better than what it's performed over the last 2 months. When I saw those first April and May weeks when we led the league in quality starts, from my standpoint, I'm always trying to be positive, and I see that kind of ability out there and wonder if we can recapture that. And it is a possibility, but we gave Seth McClung a chance to start. Carlos is getting a chance to start, and so we have to get some consistency back. Manny Parr is pitching very well now. Last year he was 8-2 with a 3.7 ERA the first half of the year. So if Manny can go 8-2 with a 3.7 and Yvonne stays the way he's been pitching, and Braden Looper's won 9 games, but we got to be able to go out there and do it and just not talk about it and hope that you can do it.
Have you guys been able to pinpoint anything in particular that would be a reason why the pitching has not produced?
Well, you just going deeper into the game is one of the things. I think it's one of the common problems in the game today is you look up and the number of pitches thrown by the 5th and 6th inning. And I had a talk with someone today, and we were talking about lineups are deeper. We're talking about the umpire's strike zone is basically it's an electronic strike zone. It's
about that big.
Yeah, it's an electronic strike zone. I just saw Bob Guerin, I think, got thrown out of the game with Oakland, arguing balls and strikes. But it's an electronic strike zone. There's pressure, and it's not the umpire's fault. There's been pressure put on the umpires to be 99% correct, and now they're being measured electronically. And I keep saying that I hear about the pace of the game. Well, the pace of the game is because there's more balls thrown, and lineups are deeper. I was looking. I go back a few years. I was looking 1968 when the Detroit Tigers played the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series, and Ray Euler was the starting shortstop for Detroit, and he hit 165 that year, and Dal Maxfield hit 225 or 230, and Don Wirt was the starting third baseman, hit 200. So the lineups aren't as deep. weren't as deep back then. Those positions, you wanted the guy to catch the ball. You didn't care if he hit a shortstop, a center fielder, and that. But you got guys. What was Kemp with the Dodgers? Hit 380 on base percentage, hitting 330, hitting 8th in the order.
68's not the greatest year to look on for hitters, though.
No.
Can you stay a half inning?
Yeah, no problem.
Doug Melvin's going to stay with us. We'll be back. We'll talk more trade stuff. We'll talk more Brewers. All that's coming up next as we head to the bottom of the third. Stay with us. It's a beautiful night for baseball in Milwaukee. Don't forget, you can text the broadcast booth tonight. Send your questions or comments. Short code 234-234. Just type in keyword Brewers there so we know you're looking for us. Carlos Villanueva at the plate leading off against Colin Ballister. And Doug Melvin, the Brewers general manager, is with us. And we're talking about the trade deadline coming up on the 31st on Friday, and kind of addressing some of the needs the Brewers have right now. And as we left the air for the last inning, you talked about pitching, and specifically Brewers pitching not performing to where you think they should be, but all of a sudden you make a trade. You also get Dave Bush coming back hopefully in mid-August, so perhaps bolstering of the starting rotation ×2 in that case.
Yeah, we're hoping for that, and you can't always count on it though. But if Dave Bush can come back and pitch the way he did earlier on in the year, and that, but we're still got our eyes open. If there might be some improvement, whether it's a guy in the bullpen or whether the back end. Obviously, you're looking to try to get the elite guy or the best guy out there and available. But we also treat our prospects, the Gambles and the Escobars, very valuable, because we don't want to get in a situation where you're moving guys and then you're going to have trouble trying to fill those holes later on. And I keep telling people that one of the best pitchers in the game today, Dan Herron and Johan Santana, they're on teams that are, and Roy Halladay, that might be the 3 best pitchers in the game, and they're on teams that are playing below 500 because of injuries or a lack of production in other areas. There's a lot of components for your team to perform and excel at a high level, and it's easy. We've identified our pitching has to get better.
This guy has certainly helped you. Felipe Lopez, right on cue. He's been swinging the bat well for you.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is if you can't get the pitching, do you try to go out there and mash everybody? And the Phillies have pretty well done that, and the Phillies are somewhat similar to our club. They steal a lot of bases. The difference with the Phillies club and our club, and it's something that I always would like to do better and try to get better, is they're so left-handed. And if you're going to be heavy one way or the other, I think you're better to be heavy left-handed because you face more right-handed pitchers. But they got Rollins and Victorino are switch hitters, and Utley and Howard, from the left side, and Ibanez from the left side, so they can run out there 5 or 6 left-handers. We saw it with Atlanta. When we struggle against teams that are dominant left-handed hitters. Colorado was another team that came in and dominant left-handed hitters. And we're not that way. We have Prince, and that's why we're hoping Felipe can help us. Craig Counsell's done a nice job, but we're not as left-handed as a lot of these other teams.
Well, Zimmerman is going to start a 5-4-3 double play. Doug, we know you have to go. Thanks for your insights, and good luck.
Okay.
We'll be anxiously watching any kind of announcement that you have.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Doug Melvin, Brewers general manager. All tied at 1 as we head to the 4th. Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Blaine's Farm and Fleet. You'll always find value at your local Farm and Fleet. By Piggly Wiggly. Shop the pig and save. And by Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin. Here's Adam Dunn to lead off this fourth inning. This is a key inning for Villanueva. Ken Maka saying he'd like to get 60 pitches out of him. And 4 innings. Well, he's right there on the doorstep of it. As Villanueva just fires his 48th pitch. Remember, Carlos coming out of the bullpen. He's not what they call stretched out like a starting pitcher. He's gone over the 50 pitch count on one occasion this year. That one is way back there. My goodness. How far will it fly? Adam Dunn might have just hit one out of the stadium.
Well, that guy,
Washington.
That guy, when he gets extension, he gets all of one. Look out. I mean, hits some epic blasts. Hit one in the dew deck a few years ago. And I think bounced that one out of here. Wow. Fastball that was not in the location that Jason Kendall wanted it. And Adam Dunn with a nice easy swing. Check this out. I think one bounce and left the building.
Well, that's about as far as you'll see one hit. So Dunn hits one through the panels. 2-1 Washington, their second home run. Number 26, look at that, out into the parking lot.
Boy,
we just had a question about that. Had anyone ever hit one through the panels and out of the stadium? Well, there you go. Willingham drives one in the gap. Hard able to cut it off, and he holds Willingham to a single. That ball was well kissed.
I'm surprised it's still round. You can't hit a ball any harder than that.
It's about the last place you'd expect a baseball, standing out there.
That's out by the Brewers team parking lot. Hope my car's all right.
So Villanueva has given up 2 well-hit baseballs. Nationals with the lead. Dunn with 26 homers, 74 runs batted in now. Nationals hitters have had plenty to smile about. A good bunt. Villanueva can't get there, and that is an infield hit. Willie Harris with a bunt single. 3 straight hits to start the 4th inning for Carlos Villanueva, and that gets activity going in the bullpen.
Well, perfectly executed bunt for a base hit. Once it gets by Villanueva, no chance for the Brewers to get him out at first base. That's the idea. Get it by the pitcher, and you make the first baseman leave the bag. You've got a hit. Well done.
As Tim Dillard begins to get loose. 2 on, nobody out, and it's Alberto Gonzalez at the plate. Villanueva struck out Gonzalez back in the 2nd inning. Got him to chase a high fastball. There is some light at the end of the tunnel here in this inning. Villanueva at the bottom of their batting order. If he can navigate his way through Gonzalez and Nieves, he'd have the pitcher coming up. .55 pitches for Villanueva.
Carlos only effective when he gets ahead in the count, and has not been able to do that to Gonzalez, the number 7 hitter. He's very effective when he keeps himself out of fastball counts, and this is not a fastball count. 2-0, 3-1, 3-0. That's when hitters really get a good swing at Carlos Villanueva.
Villanueva could use a ground ball here. Typically a fly ball pitcher with that changeup. That one's on the inside corner. Just caught a piece, and it's 3-2. That could be a big pitch as this inning continues.
Well, down and in. That's about as low and inside as you're going to get a strike call.
Full count, nobody out. 2 on for the Nationals. A run is in on the Dunn home run. And a pop up. That'll do the job. Infield fly rule is called as Lopez makes the catch for out number 1.
Well, follow the Brewers on your iPhone and iPod Touch with MLB.com At Bat 2009, featuring play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Go to Brewers.com on your iPhone or iPod Touch to purchase. That's a good changeup by Carlos on 3-2.
And a good comeback after being down 3 balls, no strikes. Nieves chases one out of the strike zone, and Villanueva gets ahead. Will Nieves, the Washington catcher. Chase another one. Slider from Villanueva, and it's 0-2.
Well, this is where you don't have to throw strikes. You get a guy that's already swinging 2 pitches that have been out of the strike zone. Count should be 2-0. He'll bounce a couple of breaking balls here.
Nieves, a .260 hitter overall. He's been pretty good with runners on base, though. He's batting .300 this year with men on. Villanueva struck him out last time up with a man on. And the 0-2, little flare into shallow right. Hart's got a long way to go, and he dives, and he can't come up with it. And a run is going to score if he makes the catch. He's got a double play to win the inning.
Oh boy. How in the world did Willingham be able to judge that fly ball like that? He got lucky. He got very lucky. Corey Hart got there. That's the new outfield positioning by the Brewers. Everybody very deep, a lot deeper than they were before the All-Star break. Ordinarily, Corey's going to be able to get to that ball pretty easily, but because they're playing deeper, taking away the extra base hits, not able to get to a ball in front of him. Josh Willingham, I have no idea how he was able to score on that ball unless he just didn't know where it was. He just took off right away and got very lucky because that ball was in Corey's glove for a second.
It goes as a hit and an RBI
on an 0-2 pitch. It was a little bit too good of a pitch on 0-2 to a guy that was swinging at anything. That's a pitch you got to put in the dirt.
So 1 out, a run is in. Still first and second, and the pitcher Ballister coming up.
Boy, everything coming up roses for the Nationals so far in this series.
A bunt back to Villanueva. His only play is first, and a sacrifice bunt for Ballister advances the runners to second and third. So the second out of the inning, back to the top of the order. And here's the pesky Nyjer Morgan, who homered off Villanueva in the first inning. 3-1 Washington. 2 runs are in. That home run by Adam Dunn officially goes 445 feet. This one not quite as far, but still pretty well hit, especially from a guy who doesn't hit a lot of home runs.
Yeah, that's about as far as he can hit one. Nyjer Morgan. Right down the line. Got the Nationals off and running in the first inning.
And a line drive to right, a base hit. Harris will score. Gonzalez right behind him. 2 more runs in for the Nationals. And Morgan is having a big day. 5-1 Washington.
Might check out the location. I mean, that sinker was going away from Morgan, able to go and hook it and hit it hard into right field for a couple of RBIs. So the sacrifice bunt by Ballister ends up coming around to score 2 runs. Well, the Brewers about an inch away from getting out of this inning with that double play. Had Corey Hart been able to keep that ball in his glove. Ifs and buts, right? Candy and nuts.
Yep. Instead, 4 hits in the inning. 4 runs are in. The Nationals putting another big inning together. Morgan takes off. Kindle's throw is low, and Morgan has a stolen base on a pitch out. Stolen base number 31 for Nyjer Morgan. He's second in the league in that category. And the Nationals have another man in scoring position.
That big lead, and Villanueva gets it to Jason Kendall. Throw was right on the money, but Morgan got there at the same time.
Bounce to Prince, and that'll do it. Costly inning, however. Washington scores 4, and the Brewers have to play catch up once again. To Pat Listash in the 92 AL Rookie of the Year campaign. Pat Listash, third base coach of the Washington Nationals, after a number of years managing in the minor leagues of the Cubs system. Well, Adam Dunn hits one out of Miller Park, completely out of the ballpark, right through the panels there. 445 feet it was measured. 4-run Washington 4th inning, and now the Brewers in a familiar position here lately, having to play catch up. We're putting a lot of pressure, Rock, on the offense on a nightly basis.
Yep, night after night after night. As we talked about, I mean, the Brewers did a lot of winning coming from behind early in the season, an awful lot of winning, but that stuff catches up to you. I mean, you just can't continue to do that as much as the Brewers have tried to do. You just can't. You got to play from behind and get those nice easy wins from time to time, but relying on coming from behind, very tough, particularly at the big league level. There have been times, though, that the pitching has been good and the offense hasn't been there. It's just been one of those stretches. It's been a month like that. You get good pitching, you don't get the offense. You get good hitting and you don't get the pitching. It's been very tough to put everything together this month.
Well, see, the Brewers can start to whittle away here. Had Braun, Fielder, and McGee due up in this 4th inning. Colin Ballister has given up just 1 run on 3 hits, and that one's on the corner. 3-2 to Braun. Braun has a 7-game hit streak going. Hit his 20th home run last night, the first in franchise history to have at least 20 home runs a season in his first 3 seasons. Braun with 20 homers, 68 runs batted in. And that one was hit in the left, got jammed a little bit. Back is Harris. And he's got it for the out.
Yeah, just didn't have that sound off of Ryan's bat. Down on the trademark. Still almost hit it out. Hey, Ballister showing you something, trying to come inside. I don't think it's by design, though. He's missing sometimes by the entire width of the plate and still getting outs. That pitch was supposed to be away. He threw it on the inside corner.
So here's Fielder with 1 away.
So I guess if you're going to miss, trying to go to the outside corner, miss by 17 inches.
That's like hitting one into the other fairway.
Yeah.
You still get a good lie.
You don't want to miss by 8 or 9 inches because it's right down the middle.
Into the opposite field. Morgan runs it down for out number 2. Braun and Fielder retired here in the 4th. Ballister just 23 years of age. 15 starts in the big leagues last year. And his second in the major leagues this season. His last one came against the Cardinals. That makeup game, the Cardinals won in 7 innings. Boy, the Nationals have dealt with a ton of rain this year. They have had 18 games this season affected by rain. Delays. And I believe 14 of those 18 have come in their home ballpark. Tall right-hander from Huntington Beach. And the son of a surfboard shop owner. He grew up on the waves. Product of that Washington Nationals minor league system. It was just a couple of years ago, Rock, he was their top-rated minor league prospect.
Well, he got off to a terrible start in AAA this year, but turned things around in his last 12 starts. 6-4 in his last 12 starts with a .338 earned run average and only allowed 2 home runs. But as you mentioned, if you're a prospect and you're pitching fairly well in AAA, Washington Nationals is not a bad club to be on. Because if you're pitching well in AAA, you're not a bad fit in any organization these days.
Now Washington's been burning a path between Nationals Park and Syracuse, their AAA affiliate. 3-2 to McGee. Casey has never faced Ballister until tonight. Stroh's out to an early lead on Chicago, 4-0 at Wrigley. Cubs winning yesterday on a grand slam by Soriano. McGee into right, pretty well hit, backing up is Willingham, and he's got it for the out. 3 fly ball outs. The Brewers go quietly in the 4th.
ticket holders broke bread with a few of the Brewers here at Miller Park. Todd Coffey and Casey McGee had lunch in the Metaboni Club with fans who got a chance to chat with the guys over and after lunch. So it's good to see the guys out in the community. Back to you guys upstairs.
All right, Telly, thanks a lot. Casey McGee and Todd Coffey. Another good crowd tonight at Miller Park. It's been a night of frustration early. Hopefully the Brewers can get things turned around. Enthusiastic fans nonetheless, and they're hoping for that turnaround. Tim Dillard is now in the pitch. Carlos Villanueva goes 4, gives up 5 runs. And now it's going to be up to Dillard to go as much as he can. And I'm sure Ken Maka is hoping he can settle things down with this Nationals club offensively.
As we talked about, good numbers down in AAA as a starting pitcher. Did a nice job, you know, throughout his minor league career as a relief pitcher. Good sinker, a slider for Dillard. Not sure if he's picked up another pitch as a starter. But anxious to see how he goes about his business here tonight.
Well, Dillard was named the Pacific Coast League Pitcher of the Week. Tied for the lead in the PCL in wins. He won his 10th just the other day as Zimmerman bounces one to McGee. And 1 away here in the 5th. Aflac trivia tonight has to do with the Rookie of the Year, Pat Listash, Brewers Rookie of the Year back in '92. And who finished second that year in '92?
That's a good one.
Always a good question. Kenny Lofton was behind Listash. Listash hit nearly 300 that season. And the runaway winner for the Rookie of the Year. Lofton had a much longer and more productive career than Listash, but Listash's career, at least phase 2 of it, might just now be getting underway.
Yeah.
Talking about him as a very highly touted managerial prospect.
Yeah, the Cubs were, you know, sorry to see him go, but weren't going to stand in his way in allowing him to get to the major leagues.
So compare the seasons. Lofton had more stolen bases with the Indians in '92. Listash the higher batting average, had more hits and a lot more votes. And until Ryan Braun won the award, Listash the only one to do it. Or the last one to do it. Brewer franchise history.
I think if Pat Listash was able to stay healthy, which he was not, he had some knee problems, he probably would have had a nice career as well. Well, he could run though. You know, good hitter, good switch hitter. He can run. Solid defensively, and a heck of a nice guy. We're going to be talking to Listash on Brewers Live on Thursday.
Full of energy. What's interesting is that Rookie of the Year race, Listash won the award. Cal Eldred of the Brewers finished 4th that season. So 2 of the top 4 Rookie of the Year candidates back in '92. Eldred was 11-2 that year. Well, Mike Cameron is teaming up with 5-time Grammy winner Usher to host a bowl-a-thon on August 27th. That'll be at Pinstripes Bowling in Glendale. There'll be a silent auction, a VIP reception. Proceeds will benefit Usher's foundation, Camp New Look in Atlanta. And you can bowl with Mike and other Brewers players and coaches. To find out how, go to brewers.com/Cameron. 1 out and a walk, and here is Josh Willingham. Is done. Is at first. Willingham with a single his last time up. Part of that 4-run Nationals 4th inning. And a base hit. And the Nationals are making it look easy right now. That is already their 9th hit of the game. So 2 on with 1 away.
The middle of the game has been very productive for the Nationals in this series. 5th and 6th innings in last night's ball game. 13 runs. Of course, he was responsible for 8 of them.
Here's Willie Harris. He's reached twice with a walk and an infield hit. Well, Tim Dillard certainly glad to be back in the major leagues. Pitched out of the bullpen for the Brewers last year and was one of the last cuts this spring when they pared the rosters down to 25 men. He went to AAA and pitched well for Don Money.
I think the Brewers were somewhat thinking about using him out of the bullpen, this season, but Dillard, went to the organization and said he'd like to be a starting pitcher, and they said, all right, go down to AAA, try it, and he did pretty well. Essentially a two-pitch pitcher. Not too many pitchers that only have really two pitches. That synchronous slider are very effective in the starting rotation unless one of those pitches is extraordinary.
Now, it's been nearly a week since Dillard last pitched. He pitched last Wednesday, and what a game it was. His best of the year as he walks Harris and the bases are loaded. So the Brewers in trouble again here. The Nationals threatening with the bases full and just one out. Well, we've got our U.S. Cellular text question running this week. The greatest closer of all time. We want to hear from you. Courtesy of U.S. Cellular and the short code 234-234. That's Hoffman for W, X is Eckersley, Y Mariano Rivera, and Z Goose Gossage.
Surprised Raleigh's not on that list. Raleigh Fingers, former Brewer. Those were the days of the 3-inning saves.
When men were men, and a save was a save.
Of course, Goose Gossage pitched in that era too.
Bases loaded, one away, and here is Alberto Gonzalez.
When you pick up saves 2 and 3 innings at a time, you're not going to get 50, 60 of them.
Doesn't mean you can't pitch back-to-back days or even 3 in a row, but closers in that era.
Well, that was the era of 10-man pitching staffs. 5 starters, 5 relievers. A lot different these days.
Now all the bullpens are specialized. Bouncer got a chance here. McGee to second. Lopez to first. A big moment in this game. Dillard gets out of it. A 5-4-3 double play to end the inning. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Now not too far from downtown Milwaukee, Miller Park. And game 2 of this series with the Nationals. Brewers just getting out of a mess in the 5th inning. Washington with the bases loaded and 1 out. But Dillard induces a 5-4-3 double play to end it. And a scoreless inning for Dillard in his first. And Hart launches one to right. Back is Willingham at the track, and he's got it for out number 1. I just heard a report come across from Mike Vasallo, media relations director, that Jeff Suppan being evaluated. He has an injured oblique muscle. That's what I understand.
Yeah, well, he was examined by Dr. Rosh. Will be evaluated on a day-to-day basis. No decision has been made on Suppan yet. We're going to see how it progresses as the days go on. They're not going to need him again for 4 days anyway.
Hardy takes a strike from Ballister.
So the news not good again for the starting rotation.
Dave Bush not expected back until mid-August at the earliest. Well, the Brewers in dire straits in their starting rotation. Well, I'll tell you what, with injury comes opportunity, and for a guy like Tim Dillard, this is a golden opportunity to make his mark. I've always liked the way Dillard goes about his business. He's a guy who got a chance last year in the major leagues, and as you mentioned, he wanted to be a starter, wanted to stretch out, had a good run down in AAA, and he's going to get his chance here tonight and maybe in the near future, especially if Suppan ends up having to go on the disabled list.
Yeah, but that's supposed to be, you know, Tim Dillard was supposed to be the Dave Bush spot, not the Jeff Suppan spot.
That's right.
I mean, how many spots do the Brewers have to fill here? They need that guy back in the worst way. Coming along slowly, though. Talked to Bush today.
Bush was hit with a line drive in early June from Hanley Ramirez. He tried to pitch through it, but a micro tear in his triceps muscle just above the elbow and that tricep area, closer to the elbow than the shoulder, and it has been giving him a lot of trouble. Just can't shake the fatigue in his arm. The muscle is spread out. Talking to Roger Kaplinger, the Brewers athletic trainer, he was explaining it that, you know, it's like pressing it against concrete. When it hit that bone, that ball was between the, or the muscle was between the ball and the bone. It just spread it out.
It's like tenderizing meat. You pound it with the mallet, you know, the hammer. You know all about tenderizing meat, don't you?
Long throw for Guzman, and Hardy is safe as the ball gets away. See how they score that one. That was a long throw from the hole at short.
It looked as though they had him, but Adam Dunn just didn't catch the baseball. It's got to be a base hit. Good play by Guzman. He's got a pretty good arm. J.J. didn't run all that well. Adam Dunn just whiffed it. And it's going to be a base hit.
So a break for the Brewers and a man on. Hardy is 2 for 2 now. And here's Kendall with one away.
So I'm not sure if you understand the meat tenderizing thing.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
I'm not convinced. You spread it out, tenderize
the meat.
That's kind of what happened to Bushy's, you know, muscle above his elbow.
The tricep. Absolutely. Perfect sense. The baseball being the mallet or the hammer in your analogy. And good. Well done, Rock.
Okay.
You hate to call anyone's right arm meat, though. I mean, there's people that
no muscle, that's meat.
Called pitchers meat. Ebby Lelouch.
Just got to make sure that Bush is 100% before he comes back, or he can hurt it again. But not good news for Jeff Suppan.
Well, Suppan trying to avoid his second DL stint in as many years after he went a decade without a trip to the disabled list.
Now, the fact that it was announced here in the press box is not a good sign.
No.
Baseball and organizations like to keep those things under wraps until the last minute, but not the case.
Hitters count for Kendall. Hardy at first, and a strike from Ballister. Well, we know Manny Parra is pitching tomorrow, and Giovanni Gallardo is pitching on Thursday. Lazy fly ball. Back is Morgan, who plays shallow, and he makes a catch for out number 2.
Well, tonight's time of the game winner is Buckshot's Bar and Grill in Sun Prairie. That's up by Madison, Wisconsin. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer is courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and our good friends at Miller Lite. I'm going to say hello to Mark Howard with Miller, who came through on the Mike Cameron beer delivery shirt that he was promised.
Deliver the shirt to Mike Cameron.
Right, I delivered it. I got it from Mark.
I see.
It says Cam on it. You know, the
Nice.
the Wendell shirt.
Yeah.
The one that all the guys in the bullpen got.
Well, all the guys who deliver beer for a living
Get one, right? They wear that.
Sure,
that's their thing.
that's part of their uniform.
Right.
Wendell just made it famous.
So Cam got it thanks to Mark Howard with Miller.
Well, after you called him out on the air, I wouldn't imagine he had any other choice.
I called out a different guy.
Oh.
And then finally went to Mark. Took care of it. I won't mention whose name I called out and didn't come through. It's okay. Got done.
1-2 to Tim Dillard, his first big league at bat of the year. Believe it or not, Tim Dillard has a batting average in the major leagues of 1,000. He's 1 for 1. And he's been swinging the bat all year down in AAA. In the dirt, and Nieves secures it at first, and the inning is over. And Ballister has gone 5, just given up 1 run. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by the Wisconsin Lottery and its family of instant scratch games. Odds are you'll like them. By Airtran. Go. There's nothing stopping you. And by Aflac. We've got you under our wing.
Hey, Brewers fans, bring your Thursday game ticket to Potawatomi for a chance to win fabulous prizes with Potawatomi Grand Slam Thursdays. Go to Brewers.com for details.
Well, they're still fired up here at Miller Park. A good crowd on a Tuesday night. And hoping this club can make a comeback tonight. Down in a hole early. A 4-run fourth inning. Washington getting a big home run from Adam Dunn, a 445-foot homer that actually went out of the ballpark. And then RBIs from Will Nieve and Nyjer Morgan. Morgan drove in a pair with a 2-out hit in the fourth. Morgan is also homered in this game. The only run for the Crew came in the second when Corey Hart scored on a J.J. Hardy RBI single. That came with 2 outs as well. So Nieves, his third time up, and his first against Tim Dillard, who managed to work a scoreless fifth. And when Dillard's right, you'll see a lot of that. A lot of ground ball outs. All right, our Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin text question: do the Brewers have any players on their current roster who are untouchable? Mike in Janesville wants to know. And we had Doug Melvin on earlier in the broadcast in the third inning, and that specific question didn't come up, but he did offer that I don't think anyone's untouchable, but the general philosophy of the Brewers at this point is not to trade away some of the premier prospects, guys like Brett Lawrie and Alcides Escobar and Matt Gamble, building an organization and a big league franchise from within.
But having said that, I think if there was an opportunity for a player that the Brewers just couldn't pass up, I think they would have to consider it. Nobody's untouchable. Nobody's irreplaceable.
Well, Ballister bounces one through for a base hit. So the pitcher has a base hit. And that is the 10th hit for the Nationals.
Well, got the pitch, breaking ball up in the strike zone, and Ballister, not the only thing a pitcher can handle, something, middle speed that's up in the zone, and that's what he got. I should say most pitchers. There are some fairly good hitting pitchers, but most pitchers can handle that pitch.
So top of the order, Nyjer Morgan. Morgan homered in the first, his third of the year, and his first as a National. And then a 2-out, 2 RBI single in the fourth. He also stole a base that inning. Bouncer over to Lopez. He steps on the back. Can he turn it? The throw in time. Boy, that's saying something when you double up Nyjer Morgan. And back-to-back innings for Tim Dillard with inning-ending double plays. Well done by Lopez. Summary, the Nationals and the Brewers, and it was a fast start for Washington on the second pitch of the game. Nyjer Morgan hits one out, his third homer of the year. Hardy tied it with a 2-out RBI single in the second inning. Even the score at 1 apiece, but then Washington erupts for 4 runs in the fourth, and Dunn, a memorable home run completely out of Miller Park. Morgan had 2 more RBIs later. It's been rough on the Crew, and it's been rough on the Sausages tonight as well. Look at this spill. Wait for it. Down goes Italian and Chorizo.
Look at the recovery, though.
Chorizo is pretty athletic onto his feet.
Man.
Nicely done, especially with the big sombrero. Well, the Brewers have the top of the order coming up against Ballister, who has locked up Milwaukee's offense thus far. Brewers have just 4 hits. 2 of those came back-to-back in the second inning that delivered the only run of the game. All of the hits, with the exception of Hart's doubles, a double is singles. Chopper, and Zimmerman makes the play for out number 1.
Nothing really all that smooth down there at third base, but Zimmerman's been able to make the plays. Had good hands on that short hop off of the bat of Felipe Lopez, and a good throw to first this time. You don't get style points. We talk about it all the time, as long as you get it done.
Here's Cameron. Cameron homered off Ballister last year in his only appearance against Milwaukee. Washington has come to town swinging the bats. There's been a lot of home runs hit by the opponent on this homestand with Atlanta and the Nationals in the first 2 games. Washington has now hit 5 home runs in this series in 2 games. Cameron rolled into a double play his last time up. Maka bumping him up to the 2 spot here tonight with McGee back in the lineup. A rock to Mark Burley watches on again. 5 perfect innings tonight.
He's at it again, huh?
After his perfect game last week. Just the 18th perfect game in big league history. He is now perfect against the Minnesota Twins in Minnesota.
That's a tough place to throw a no-hitter, or even certainly get a perfect game with that AstroTurf. It's been done, though.
Johnny Vandermeer threw the last back-to-back no-hitter, the only back-to-back no-hitter.
Never been back-to-back perfect games.
No, sir.
No.
Burley, one of the few pitchers to have a no-hitter and a perfect game in his career. Had a no-hitter back in '07. Cameron pops it up. That's going to stay playable. 2 outs. Taco Bell, who's hot? Ryan Braun riding a 7-game hit streak. Big numbers during the streak. 10 runs batted in. That includes 4 homers and a .433 batting average. Tonight he's 0 for 2. But Braun, a few days after the All-Star break, found his stroke.
It all started with that home run to the opposite field late in the ball game in Pittsburgh. Sometimes there's no telling what's going to lock a guy in. Maybe take a pitch, a walk, maybe a Texas leaguer, but a home run to right field for Ryan Braun, that's what got him going.
Ryan almost hit one out of here in the 4th inning. Ballister got one in on his hands a bit, cut it right on the label, and he flew out to the warning track and left. Fielder would be next. Braun trying to get him a chance here in the 6th inning. And make a quick strike against Ballister, who's been pretty good tonight. Another pop up. That one looks like it's headed for the seats. And a 2-2 count to Ryan Braun.
There haven't been too many hitters square up on Ballister so far tonight. I think it's because that curveball early in the game was such a good pitch for him. Basically a straight fastball, a four-seamer with not a lot of movement that is only at about 92 miles an hour and still able to get in on the hands of a pretty good fastball hitter in Ryan Braun.
And the 2-2, and Braun hits one in the air to left center field. Harris is back, and Ryan Braun has hit one out on a 2-2 pitch. Braun with his 21st of the year and extends his hitting streak to 8 games. And the Brewers within 3 now. It's 5-2 Washington.
Both runs because of hanging breaking ball. J.J. Hardy's base hit that scored Corey Hart in the 2nd inning was a hanging breaking ball. That breaking ball right down the middle of the plate. And he drives it out of here into the Brewers bullpen. Now the pitch before, Ballister did a good job of getting in on the hands of Ryan with a fastball. Gave him the curveball, left it up, and Ryan hit it out of here.
So Braun with 21 homers, 69 runs batted in.
Been really only 2 mistakes for Ballister all night, both coming on the hook. That curveball.
Steve McCatty, the pitching coach of the Nationals. A quick word with Ballister. Now Mark Burley's no-hitter is done. Denard Span single in the 6th inning. Burley's Bennett history is over. His he does set a major league record though, Rock. 43 consecutive outs for Mark Burley. The perfect game at on into tonight. All right, here's Fielder now with 2 outs. Fielder could make it a 2-run game with 1 swing of the bat.
And Prince has had a couple of near misses tonight. He's had some good swings against Ballister. And Ballister able to sneak that fastball in on his hands that last pitch.
And back in there, and it's 0-2.
Must be hiding the baseball pretty well because that fastball is only 92. We're not talking about mid-90s, mid to upper. And not much movement. Brewers having a tough time squaring up on it. Seems like he hides that ball behind his back for a long time. And it's tough to see.
Fielder tomahawks one over to second. Gonzalez makes the play. And the side retired, but Ryan Braun delivers again. A 2-out, 2-strike home run. Braun with his 21st of the year. And the Brewers inching their way back. 5-2 Washington. Life. Great taste, less filling. And by Toyota, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Tundra Territory at Miller Park. Roof is open tonight at Miller Park. On a warm Tuesday night in Milwaukee, the Brewers are down 5-2 to the Nationals. Ryan Braun is homered. Belted his 21st last inning in the 6th. And now Tim Dillard trying to keep the zeros on the board here as he works in his 3rd inning. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for Washington. And Christian Guzman takes strike 1. That major league record for Mark Buehrle ended at 45 consecutive batters retired after he goes into the 6th. No-hit baseball tonight. Perfect baseball until Denard Span singled.
The Minnesota Twins team is tough to, no hit and keep off the bases. They're a pesky group. I mean, they put the bat on the baseball and on that artificial turf. That's a very tough feat.
Well, Minnesota in kind of the same boat the Brewers are in. They're an even 500 this year. The Twins are 50-50. But they're just 3 back. No one really taking advantage in the American League Central. Tigers lead that division over the White Sox. As Guzman draws a walk. Everything you do about fantasy football is about to change, Rock. Introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football with more customizable features and new ways to play. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN. Join the next generation of fantasy football. Brett Favre announcing today that he will not play football for the Vikings. He could change his mind, though.
Sure he will.
Zimmerman takes a strike from Dillard.
Been an interesting couple of off seasons with Mr. Favre.
Hardly noticed. I'll see if Dillard could get his 3rd consecutive double play in his 3rd inning. 2 inning ending double plays in the first 2. Well, McGee up with it. His only play is to first. Good play by Casey McGee. Zimmerman retired, but Guzman advances to second base. I can't imagine the Brewers would be pitching to Adam Dunn here.
Well, beats it into the ground, and as you mentioned, with that good sinking fastball from Tim Dillard. And a lot of ground ball outs. That's what you like to see.
Dillard's going to walk Dunn, set up a double play opportunity, and work around a dangerous hitter. Willingham is next. Tim Dillard in his 3rd inning. This is a key inning for him. Trying to work through his 7th. Dillard, last pitch, I'm telling you about his last start on Wednesday. One of his best starts of his career. He was pitching for Nashville in Memphis, and it was a 1-0 win for Nashville. The story was Dillard, though. In 8 innings, he gave up just 1 hit, and he faced the minimum. Got a double play, faced 24 batters in his 8 innings to pick up the win and earn his 10th win of the season. It's hard to win double digits in the minor leagues. Shorter schedule and more strict pitch counts.
He's a competitor. I mean, there's really no doubt about the fact that he wants to go out there and compete and attacks hitters. He's walked a couple here tonight. But a guy that's not afraid to throw the ball over the plate. I mean, you don't have to be on the corners when you have that sink to the fastball like Dillard possesses. I mean, you can get it right down the middle, but it's down around the knees. You're all right.
Well, he pitched okay last year in his first opportunity in the big leagues. His ERA was 4.4, made 13 relief outings. Was up and down a couple of times. He was up in the middle of the season and then back up in September. And I remember at the time, you know, CC Sabathia was going strong, and we were talking to Tim Dillard and Mark DeFelice and how much of an impact, even Manny Parra, how much of an impact Sabathia made on some of these young pitchers, just with work ethic and the approach to the game.
Well, and the desire to take the ball every fourth day, if you will, for CC Sabathia at the end of the season. Was it 4 straight starts on 3 days rest?
Yeah. One of those against the Nationals. And he shut him down. A complete game 5-hit shutout against Washington. Two and two the count with 1 away. Willingham at the plate with 2 on. And a line drive to center field. Cameron, he is right there. And Willingham retired on a liner. 2 outs.
Enter the Train to Win sweepstakes presented by Amtrak Hiawatha. Win train and game tickets to see the Brewers play the Cubs at Wrigley Field on September 17th. See Brewers.com for details.
36,502 in attendance tonight. Another great crowd. Midweek crowd, over 36,000 here. And they're anxiously waiting a Brewer victory. Only been 1 on this homestand. Braves came in here, took 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee. And Washington won the opener last night 14-6. Two outs. Willie Harris at the plate, and Dillard trying to work his way through a scoreless 7th inning. Harris has been on base all 3 times tonight. 2 walks and an infield hit. Two and 1. That's Guzman at second. He runs well. Adam Dunn's over at first. And a bouncer to Fielder, and he picks up a tough hop. Dillard's there for him, and the inning is over. And Tim Dillard has put 3 scoreless on the board. See if the Brewer bats can get it going. Casey McGee set to lead off.
Craig and Davey back with you at Miller Park. Brewers trail as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. And Davey, let's go back to the 4th.
Yes.
Turns out to be a game of inches, if you will, in that big inning that the Nationals had defensively for the Brewer crew.
had it started, you know, right there, Corey would have made an outstanding play if he could have held on the ball, would have doubled up Willingham, but the ball gets loose. Now this punt right here, Carlos just can't get to it. Those are two key plays that weren't made that really could have turned that whole inning around with just one run.
Still within striking distance, big time. It's a 5-2 game right now, coming up on Brewers Live postgame. Accelerating to steal. Bill, you may have the night off with Davey ready to do that tonight.
I don't know anything about acceleration. You're right.
Except with a right foot.
That's right.
Casey McGee leads off, and a new pitcher in there for the Nationals. Jason Bergman is on for the 23rd time, and he pitches in consecutive games here at Miller Park. He got the win yesterday, Rock.
And they pitched well. Inning in the third. Gave up a couple of hits and a run. But 3 strikes. This is a guy that's been down in the minor leagues for the Nationals. Nationals trying to find anybody, particularly out of the bullpen, to get some outs. The bullpen ERA has not been very good.
Well, the Brewers hoping to take advantage. Casey McGee leads off, then Hart, then Hardy, and McGee gets under one. Willie Harris will haul it in for out number 1.
And bullpen earned run average for the Nationals at 5.23. Good night for Colin Ballister. I think that the Nationals and Jim Riggleman have to be happy with the way he threw the baseball. A couple of runs, and the only mistakes that he made were 2 base hits that scored runs. A home run by Ryan Braun and a base hit by J.J. Hardy, both on hanging curveballs. But overall, a very good outing.
Yeah, and both with 2 outs as well. Keeps the Brewers in striking distance, which is what you can say about this game and this season. Brewers within striking distance, hoping to make a move. Hart drops a bunt down, and Bergman makes the play, out number 2. Saw where Randy Johnson was diagnosed with a torn rotator cuff. That's a big blow for the Giants. We're hoping he would come back. Suffered the injury at the beginning of this month, and originally they thought the big unit was going to be just maybe 15 days on the DL, maybe 2 turns through the rotation, and then back with a torn rotator cuff. And for a guy who's 46 years of age, or will be 46 in September, that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, that might be it. Depending on how serious it is. I mean, any tear like that is going to be serious, but you're right. At that age, it could be end of the road.
Hardy, a fair ball down the line. Extra bases for J.J. Hardy. So a 2-out double. And Hardy has 3 hits tonight. J.J. with half of the Brewers' hits in this game. And a chance here for Milwaukee to get a run on the board again with 2 outs.
Well, once again, 2 outs and nobody on, and J.J. Hardy trying to get something going. The Brewers have not been able to get their leadoff hitter on once tonight, and that's been one of the reasons why they haven't been able to score runs. Able to get that one down the third baseline.
Well, a milestone for Hardy. That is his 100th career double. And now it's Kendall to try to drive another one in with 2 outs. Both of the runs so far for Milwaukee have come with 2 away. We got Dillard's spot coming up next. So Counsell has already moved into the on-deck circle, which is why Bergman pitches to Kendall here. Kendall is hitless. A ground out and a fly ball out. 0 for 2. Well, a base hit, not a guarantee to score a run in this situation. Kendall does not possess big power, and because of that, the outfielder is very shallow.
And plus, you want to take any chances. Down by 3 runs, you don't want to make an out at the plate. Brewers did that last night.
And Bergman strikes him out. So a 2-out double is stranded. Brewers come up empty in the 7th. We head to the 8th. 5-2 Washington. Miller Lite, what's on tap? The Brewers and the Nationals resume this series tomorrow on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Craig and Davey and Telly with Brewers Live beginning at 6:30. Manny Parra starts for Milwaukee against Garrett Mock, right-hander for the Nationals, who is winless this year. So game 3 tomorrow right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin in high definition. Hope you'll make plans to be with us. I want to send out a happy 50th birthday to Brian Bauman, known as Smiley, works here at Miller Park. Also, happy 48th birthday to John Sievert, also a Miller Park employee.
I've known Brian for many, many years. Good guy. I remember Brian Bauman as a clubhouse attendant with the Milwaukee Admirals way back in the day. Good guy.
And he's 50.
It's not old.
Not at all. Champions Tour eligible, man. One pitch and one out for Dillard, who returns for his 4th inning of work. Dillard 3 scoreless, thanks in large part to 2 double plays. He got out of a mess in the 1st inning, his first big league inning of the year. You can imagine Dillard fighting some nerves in that 5th inning. Loaded the bases with 1 out, but then got a double play from Gonzalez to get out of it. The rally pass somewhere in there. One of them has popped out. Brewers will have a pinch hitter, likely Counsell, to lead off, and then to the top of the order. So they're right where they want to be in the batting order if you're going to get something going offensively. Will Nieves 1 for 3 tonight. He singled in a run back in the 4th. That was a pivotal play in this game. Villanueva had Nieves to 2 strikes quickly, had him 0-2 right off the bat. Then Nieves flared one to right center, and Hart made a diving attempt. It popped in and out of his glove. If he made the catch, it would have been a double play to end the inning. Instead, it was a hit and an RBI. Slow roller, and that'll roll foul. One of the things the Brewers have tried to eliminate here in the last week or so is the extra base hit, trying to bring down the slugging percentage of the opponent. And the way you do that is by backing up your outfielders. Ken Maka and his team, staff putting together some statistical data that showed way too many doubles and triples, specifically triples. So the outfielders back up a little bit. There's a walk given up by Dillard.
I guess the jury's out so far on that theory, because a lot of balls have been falling in front of the Brewer outfield and not many over their heads. Well, the Brewers have teamed up with the Milwaukee Zoo for a great ticket package. For $14 you can get a Terrace Reserve ticket to the game August 11th against the Padres and an adult admission ticket to the Zoo. Get yours. Call 414-902-4000 or go to brewers.com/zoo.
So Dillard issues his 5th walk, one of them intentional. And the former Brewer Ronnie Belliard will bat. Belliard's having a hard time finding playing time these days.
He's off to a slow start. He got off to a slow start, hitting under 190, 118 at bats. Belliard's always been a very good hitter, having a tough time this year.
Belliard just 22 hits this season. A 186 average and a 246 on base percentage, but he jumps on the first pitch and lines one into left. And Dillard has 2 on with 1 away. Dillard's posted 3 scoreless innings, but the Nationals have had base runners on in every inning and multiple base runners in 3 of the 4.
He's only allowed the 2 fly ball outs, so a couple of double play balls have got him out of trouble. He's going to need another one, and a tough customer at the plate to do that.
Nyjer Morgan did ground into a double play to end the 6th inning. He's had a good night, though. He's driven in 3, has a home run, a 2 RBI single, and he's stolen a base. He's 2 for 4. Washington very happy to have Nyjer Morgan. That was a trade that they were excited to make. Nationals feel like they're close. You know, Steven Strasburg, their #1 pick, he's holding out for a lot of money. He has not signed yet. He has until August 17th at the stroke of midnight to get a deal done. He's represented by Scott Boras, so you know that's going to come with a price, but the Nationals knew that going in. And Strasburg, kid out of San Diego State, 1st overall pick this year. He's the kind of guy that can make an impact maybe next year. Strasburg pitched for Tony Gwynn at San Diego State. Tony Gwynn called him the most polished college pitcher he's ever seen.
Well, if he's half as good as they say he is, the money that he's going to make is not the signing bonus. It's going to be the money that he makes once he starts playing. And the longer he waits and the more, he holds out, less opportunity he's going to have to pitch at major league level this year. Just got to wonder about a guy that just got to sign. Just sign your contract, make your money. He's going to get a good payday, and is it worth it waiting around?
That's the big battle the Nationals are fighting right now, trying to get their top pick signed. They're still a long way away. Well, Dillard has fallen behind 3-0 to Nyjer Morgan, in danger of loading the bases here with 1 away. Brewers can't afford to go down anymore. It's been another big inning that has hurt Milwaukee pitching tonight. A 4-run 4th on the heels of 2 big innings yesterday. Strike 2. Nieves at second. Belliard over at first, and the 3-2 and a swing and a miss, and Dillard strikes him out. Power sinker from Dillard. Boy, that had a lot of tail on it, and a big strikeout for the young hurler.
Well, Morgan up in a count 3-0. The best pitch for him to hit was that fastball in 3-1. It was right down the middle, but you know, in this day and age of guys taking pitches, particularly good hitting pitches, when they're up in the count, Dillard gave him a dandy on the outside corner on a full count.
So now 2 outs, 2 on, and here's Guzman. And a strike backdoored him.
That's the thing that, you know, it's kind of perplexing. You know, it's good to take pitches to get the count in your favor, to get a good pitch to hit. So once you get the count in your favor, why take one right down the middle? You see that over and over again. 2-0 fastballs down the middle, 3-1. I mean, those are the counts that you want. And guys take them. A lot of them do. Not just Nyjer Morgan.
And the Nationals' hitting philosophy overall as an organization is to preach on base percentage. They want guys to take a lot of walks, get deep in counts. Into center field. Cameron's got a long way to go. Still on the run. He can't get it. And that one bounces off the top of the wall, and that's out of here. That's a 3-run home run. Christian Guzman with a 3-run homer, and the Nationals do it again. Another big inning. 8-2 Washington.
Well, a couple of unlikely home run hitters in this game, Nyjer Morgan and Christian Guzman. That fastball up, maybe Dillard getting a bit tired. That one didn't get out of here by much, but enough. Clearly over that yellow line for a 3-run homer.
Dillard so close to getting out of the inning. The Nationals have taken advantage of just about every opportunity. The inning is over. The Nationals get 3 big runs, and the Brewers are in a giant hole once again. Text to vote courtesy of U.S. Cellular. Best closer of all time. 66% have voted Trevor Hoffman. Way to stand by the home team. I like it. We're going to keep this going throughout the week. We'll wrap it up Sunday in San Diego. That'll be Hoffman's return to the place where he made a name for himself. 16 years as a Padre. Got a lot of good stuff planned for you too. And we get to San Diego. Our crack staff, they sat down with Trevor Hoffman. Great stuff. I've seen just clips of it, Rock. Putting together some features, and we're going to hear from Trevor during that series in San Diego. You don't want to miss it. Logan Kensing is in the pitch.
And pretty much the same rotation for Jim Riggleman as last night. And Kensing appeared in last night's ball game. 17th appearance, but he has struggled. A 9.33 earned run average. Did a pretty good job last night throwing 2 innings, only allowing 1 hit.
So here's Counsell pinch hitting. And instead of 3 runs down, the Brewers are now 6 runs behind. Belliard stays in. Plays second base. That bumps Alberto Gonzalez over to shortstop. Guzman taken out. After a 3-run home run. Boy, that came as a big shock. I don't know which is more of a surprise, the fact that Nyjer Morgan goes deep or Christian Guzman. Those are 2 guys you're not counting on to hit the long ball against you.
Well, we talked about this yesterday in this Nationals ball club. Their offense is not too bad, particularly the top 5 in their order. They've actually got a pretty good hitter on the bench, Nick Johnson, that's not playing tonight, surprisingly, against a right-handed starter. They've got Adam Dunn over at first base.
Counsell down the line. That is foul. Just sliced foul and out of play. Counsell trying to keep a hit streak going in a pinch hit at bat. Craig's now at 10 games. Has a .415 batting average during the streak. Not in the starting lineup tonight. Maka wanted to give him some rest. You can bet he'll be back in there tomorrow. Mike Rivera is going to get the start behind the plate tomorrow. He'll be catching Manny Parra.
Yeah, Rivera caught Manny Parra's first 2 starts after coming back from AAA, and Manny threw the ball very well. Last time it was Jason Kendall behind the plate.
Two and two to Counsell. Eight to 2 Nationals lead it. Counsell trying to get aboard. Turn it over to the top of the order. And then hope to keep the line moving for a while. Big line. Big conga. Brewers pitching has been right in the crosshairs on this homestand. This is the 5th game of the homestand, Rock. 41 runs for the opponent on 58 hits. And that includes a 4-hit shutout turned in by Gallardo and company on Saturday. That's with a shutout.
Yeah.
41 runs and 58 hits.
It's been a rough stretch. Last homestand was rough as well.
2-4 homestand against the Cardinals and the Dodgers. Barring a big comeback, the Brewers will be 1-4 on this homestand with 2 to play. Counsell draws the walk. It's a good at bat. And a base runner here in the 8th inning. Fans, if you enjoy our postgame instructionals, then tune in to Under the Lights, Brewers Baseball Instructionals. Bill and Davey bring you a compilation of the best on-field instructionals, showing you the basics of the game. Under the Lights, Brewers Baseball Instructionals, Sunday, 6:30 p.m. The compilation has arrived.
Is that right?
That means there is some quality body of work involved. Good job, Rock. Davey, well done.
So you're going to put a bunch of them together and air them? Is that what they're doing?
Now, it doesn't get you out of doing new ones and coming up with fresh ideas.
I understand that. I mean, that puts even more importance on doing good new ones.
Because they may show up again.
They might be in the compilation.
Man. Lopez into center. And Morgan's got it for the out. What's been your favorite instructional of the year, Rock? What do you imagine might be on the compilation that we can tease?
I would imagine the one in Minneapolis where I had the catching gear on.
That was a long one.
That was a long one, 17 minutes.
Which doesn't sound like much, but That's an eternity in television.
For a 50-year-old behind the plate with the gear on.
Is that when Bert Blyleven crossed you up?
Yeah. Hit me in the wrist. Did it on purpose. He always did that.
Of course.
When we were teammates with the Angels.
He knows he can't hurt you, so he might as well make everybody laugh at your expense. That's the night you broke out the shin guards on the khakis, didn't you?
Yeah.
You put in a full gear.
Yeah.
That's a team player, man.
Actually, realizing I didn't have a whole lot of time between the end of the game and the instructional,
right.
I wore my protective cuff throughout the entire game.
Well, that can leave a mark sometimes.
Because there is no way, no how I'm catching Bert Blyleven without the protection.
No. Hardly watch a game on TV without it.
No.
I don't blame you.
I'm sure that's going to make the compilation.
Has to. It's being compilated as we speak. The compilation. 0-2 to Cameron. 1-2.
I think one of my favorite all-time instructionals happened in Minnesota as well. We were working on rundowns, and Trenny was in the rundown.
Yes.
And in the process of her running in between us, ran to the mound.
Which is an option sometimes.
You could do that, but you know you're going to be out. But she said, you know, we want you to run. We didn't tell her to run in the baseline. So I would just tell her to get back here and run, you know, in a straight line.
She's just running in figure eights all around like the hyena at the zoo.
Like a chicken with her head cut off.
2-2 to Cameron. Zimmerman fires to Belliard. And a double play. Indicative of the night for the Brewers. We go to the ninth. 8-2 Nationals. Tough night for the Brew Crew. Tough night for the Clements Racing Sausages. But Trevor Hoffman is in the game. And that's worth waiting around for. Hoffman making his first appearance since last Tuesday. It's been a week. Picked up a save against the Pirates. And getting a chance to get some work in here in the ninth inning at an 8-2 Washington lead.
Well, you don't want to use Trevor Hoffman unless you absolutely have to, but a week is a little bit too long to have him sit out in that bullpen without getting into a ball game. So Ken Maka takes the opportunity to get him loose. 26th appearance and 22 out of 24 in saves.
And Hoffman will face Adam Dunn to start it. Dunn has reached 3 times in this game. He walked twice and hit a mammoth home run. One of the longest home runs, not as far as distance, but as far as the location of it, because it goes entirely out of the ballpark. He knocked it right through the open panels, and it was picked up on the Hank Aaron Bridge. Now maybe more towards the Harley Davidson parking lot. That's probably a better spot for him. 445 feet. Not even Dunn's longest here at Miller Park. He hit one into the dew deck, 465 feet a couple of years ago. And he's done that in a lot of ballparks around baseball.
Not easy to hit one up there, not even in BP. You don't see many up there in that dew deck in batting practice.
Washington with 2 big innings, had a 3-run 8th, a 4-run 4th inning. That was the inning Dunn hit the home run. Yesterday, Washington a 6-run 5th inning. Answered it with a 7-run 6th, the largest inning of the year for Washington. They scored 14 runs last night, which is their season high. Willingham had the 2 grand slams. Willingham has 2 singles tonight. Ryan Braun, Prince Fielder, and Casey McGee will bat in the ninth. So if nothing else, you'll get a chance to see Braun and Fielder swing the bat again.
Right, Dunn with a good eye at the plate. He's a guy that doesn't swing at too many bad pitches. A lot of his strikeouts are called. Strikeout looking. Very patient at the plate. That's why he walks so much.
Full count. And he draws a walk. 3rd walk issued to Adam Dunn tonight. And a base runner for Hoffman. Our game reset courtesy of Menards. Started with a bang. Nyjer Morgan, a light hitting leadoff hitter. His first home run as a National. On the second pitch he saw, Hardy tied it with a 2-out hit in the second. But then the Nationals score 4 runs. It started with a Dunn homer, the bomb in the 4th inning, and then 3 more runs would come in. Morgan had a 2 RBI single in that 4th. So Nyjer Morgan with 3 runs batted in. Christian Guzman 3 RBIs with 1 swing of the bat.
Yeah, that Morgan single in the 4th inning with 2 outs was a killer. Yeah, it looked like being away was going to be able to get out of the inning. A base hit made it 4-1. Actually 5-1. Get out of that inning with only 2 runs scoring, you're in pretty good shape.
Well, when Ken Maka mapped out this game tonight, it probably looked exactly like this. Villanueva for 4, Dillard for 3, Hoffman the 9th. But he certainly wasn't counting on giving up 8 runs and 12 hits in between. He's got to keep plugging away. It's a great thing about baseball. You show up tomorrow. It's a new day. And hopefully it's the day the Brewers get something started here.
Got to have a short memory in that clubhouse. You got to forget about what happened today and think about tomorrow when you're sitting home, and got to have a short memory. You just have to.
Back-to-back walks. And DeFelice getting loose. They won't let Hoffman go too deep. Keeping a close eye on his pitch count. Already 13 pitches for Hoffman. Still nobody out.
Yeah, 20, 25 pitches maybe. Maybe not even that many.
Been some sleepless nights for Ken Macha. Tough on a manager right now, trying to figure out what to do. It's a players league though. Harris flies out.
There have been sleepless nights for a lot of people in the Brew organization. I mean, players included. Guys don't like to lose. I mean, as much as fans hate it, you know, broadcasters, you know, feel frustrated. It's nothing compared to what's happened in that dugout. These guys want to win. That's what they're paid to do. You know, the more things go bad for you, the more they try, the harder they try, and sometimes the worst things come out. It's a game where you have to relax. Just let the natural ability take over, but when you press, that's when things really go bad.
It's been one too many nights like this, unfortunately, especially on this homestand. And news coming down today that starter Jeff Suppan has an oblique issue on his left side. Not on the disabled list. He'll be evaluated day to day. Don't need him until his next turn in the rotation, but just adding to the Brewers' troubles in the starting rotation. Suppan's going to rest for the next few days and then undergo reevaluation on Thursday. Former Brewer Ron Vallone. Looks like he'll have the ninth. 2-2 count with one away. Hoffman facing Alberto Gonzalez.
That isn't exactly why you want to have Trevor Hoffman in a situation like this, having not pitched for a while. You'd hate to have him with the rust on him like he appears to have right now in a safe situation. Better command of his pitches if you allow him to get an inning in a situation like this. Just can't have him out in that bullpen too long without having been able to get him into a ball game.
And it's been a week for the Brewer closer. Saved a game against the Pirates last Tuesday, the 21st. Another pop-up. Ryan Braun will make the call, and now he gives way to Cameron, and 2 outs. Now don't forget, Brewers Live postgame coming up as soon as we're done here tonight. And Craig and Davey and Rock will have Accelerating to Steal for the postgame instructional. So Hoffman's night is done. Macha keeping a close eye on his pitch count, and he's going to go ahead and make the move here and bring on Mark DeFelice. So Hoffman is out. DeFelice is in. We'll take a timeout. 8-2 Washington here in the ninth. Check event on Saturday, August 22nd from 9 to noon at the Sausage House in the parking lot. For more details, visit brewers.com. Mark DeFelice on to work here in the ninth with 2 outs. Trying to keep 2 of Trevor Hoffman's runners on base. 42nd appearance for DeFelice. He pitched last night and gave up a run in 2/3 of an inning. He gave up the second Willingham grand slam. So Maka anxious to get DeFelice right back on the horse tonight. 2 outs in the ninth inning. 8-2 Washington. They had a 5-2 lead when Christian Guzman hit a 3-run homer with 2 outs in the 8th. That closed the book on Tim Dillard, who in 3 innings gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, all earned. Dillard walked 5, one of those intentional, and had a strikeout. And a broken bat flare foul. I saw it tonight where Houston Astros starting pitcher Roy Oswalt left his game against the Cubs in the 2nd inning with a finger injury. And they're talking about Oswalt not being able to make his start next time around. So pitching woes abound all over the National League Central.
Everybody's going through it.
Randy Johnson diagnosed with a torn rotator cuff in his pitching shoulder.
There's not one team that has either come through Milwaukee, played here at Miller Park, or when the Brewers are on the road that has not been complaining about pitching. Even the top teams in the National League with respect to earned run average, they're still looking for pitching. Nobody's happy with what they have, and you wonder why it's so tough to find pitching or to trade for a pitcher. Nobody's willing to give them up. They would rather give up a big time home run hitter than a pitcher.
I say it's time to raise the mound or double the strike zone. How about that? You in?
I haven't really thought about it yet. Let me think about that. I'll think about that tonight.
Okay, come back to me tomorrow.
That will be my pregame hit. Whether we should, embark on a campaign to raise the pitching mound.
Maybe just 3 inches.
Back to where it was?
Right back to where it was when Bob Gibson fired up the 1.12 ERA. 68. Fly ball to right, and DeFelice protects a couple of runners issued by Hoffman. To the bottom of the 9th, last call for the Brewers. 6 to tie. Might as well get 7. Braun, Fielder, and McGee coming up. Could get it all, but he got enough of it. Braun hits it into the Brewer bullpen. 21 homers, 69 RBIs for Braun. He extended his hitting streak to 8 games with that long ball, power ball, home run count. Last call for the Brewers. Ron Vallone is in the pitch for Washington. See the numbers on Vallone.
Been a good career for the big rig. Ron Vallone, former Brewer. 35th appearance, a 3-5 record. Giving up 3 home runs, a .252 opponent batting average, and one of 3 left-handers down in that bullpen for Jim Riggleman. Sean Burnett threw in last night's ball game.
Nick Johnson takes over at first base. Austin Kearns is in right field. For the second straight night, Jim Riggleman able to empty out his bench late in the game. Braun 1 for 3 tonight. First Brewer in franchise history to have at least 20 homers in his first 3 seasons in the big leagues. And you got to feel, as long as he stays healthy, he is going to rewrite that Brewers record book. He's already doing so on a couple of fronts. Braun was named as an all-star starter this year for the 2nd year, and only Robin Yount has been able to do that for consecutive years.
Well, the numbers that Ryan has put up in his first 3 years, not only impressive amongst Brewer history, but Major League Baseball history. Some of the names on the list that he's been able to compile.
Well hit baseball in the corner, and Braun is going to run for a while. Morgan finally picks it up. Braun on his way to third, and he'll stop with a triple. A leadoff triple for Ryan Braun. He just continues to get his hits. His 5th triple of the year, and a standing ovation for him.
Opposite field triple for Ryan. A good job by Nyjer Morgan to back it up. Had he not been on the spot, that would have been an inside the park home run. Slices it. It would look like it was middle in, and Ryan gets enough of it over the head of Willingham in right, and Nyjer Morgan has to pick it up out there in right center. And Ryan cruises with a stand-up triple.
And here's Prince Fielder. Just an amazing hitter, Ryan Braun. Broke into the top 10 in the league in batting with that performance yesterday. Has 2 more hits tonight. Fielder a chance to drive in another run, which would be his 88th of the season. Braun and Fielder have combined to drive in more runs than any other duo in baseball. Fielder and Braun with 155 RBIs prior to tonight, 156 now. And that is 1 ahead of Pujols and Ryan Ludwig of the Cardinals. Ryan Howard and Raul Ibanez third on that list. Two 25-year-olds, the faces of the franchise.
Yep, the 1-2 punch for the Brewers. Not a bad one. And you hope they're going to be together for a long time. Ryan's going to be here for a long time. Prince side for this year and next.
Prince has the 2-year contract that he signed this offseason, and then there's an arbitration year that still belongs to the Brewers. That final arbitration year. So the Brewers have him under rights for 3 more years. Well, can you imagine that arbitration number Prince is going to warrant if he keeps putting up these kind of numbers?
Yeah.
Wow. Well deserved. Breaks his bat, and Braun in to score. Fielder picks up an RBI. First out of the inning. 8-3. As Prince drives in number 88.
Good base running by Ryan Braun to get his buddy an RBI. Went on contact saying, I'm going to get the big fella an RBI regardless of where it's hit. Prince able to make contact, although Balone ate him up inside. Ryan Braun with a great jump off of third base. And with the Nationals up by 6, they go the easy route over to first base.
So here's McGee with the bases empty. Casey is 0 for 3 tonight. And his updated batting average, .314. He swung the bat well when he's gotten his chance to play for the most part. Colin Ballister trying to win for the first time this year. He went 6 innings, only 2 earned runs. And only his second start of the season in the big leagues. Lost to the Cardinals last time out. And is an out away from a victory here tonight. 2 gone in the ninth for the Brewers. Corey Hart with 2 away. Hart doubled and scored in the second. And a 1 for 3 night tonight. Manny Parra tomorrow, Rock, with Mike Rivera behind the plate.
I got to keep the Nationals off the board early. Brewers have been playing from behind a little bit too much in this series. This homestand, as a matter of fact.
Brewers are in salvage mode right now. Gallardo will pitch on Thursday afternoon, the final game of the series. Manny Parra tomorrow against Garrett Mock, and then Gallardo matches up against J.D. Martin. And who are they, you ask? Young pitchers.
Well, just like the first 2 starters in this series. Yeah, pitching well. I mean, you can't really argue or complain about the start that Ballister put together tonight. 6 innings, 2 runs. Nothing wrong with that.
Two and two the count on Hart with 2 away. Count goes full. Byrne is hopeful. That's a ball game. So the Brewers go down to the Washington Nationals, the 2nd straight game. 8-3 the final score. Nationals belt out 12 hits. Ballister the winner. Villanueva suffers the loss. And it is time for Brewers Live. We check in with Craig Kashaw. Craig?
Okay, Brian, thanks very much.